Hi, my name is Julia Symington and I'm from Synthesis Yoga and Healing, and I practice yoga spiritually. So today what I've got for you is a number of floor exercises designed to keep this strong, to support your back, and to also increase your neck strength so that you can do that important thing, hold your head up high. So they're very simple. They're very basic. I'm just going to adjust this so that you can see me on the floor, and hopefully you will join me on the floor. So we'll start off lying down on our back. Now there's some basic steps that I'd like to suggest to you. First of all is just recognize that we're not striving for the perfect body. We're trying to find a body that we can live in quite comfortably and one that will carry us around so that we can do whatever we want to do. And as you know, core strength is really important, but so's the whole health of our spine. So one of the things that I've noticed in yoga is that necks can become very weak. So this series of abdominal exercises or poses is also going to increase your neck strength. So an important one that will pop in between poses to give you some relief is to tuck the chin down slightly and push the back of the head into the floor. Hold it for a few breaths, 5, 10, 15 seconds, and then release. And do that again. And anytime you find that you need a bit of relief for neck strain, you do that. Okay, number 1, interlock your fingers, take the hands behind the back of the head and lift the head and the elbows up towards the ceiling. The knees can stay there. Come down and repeat. Simple. Up and down, making sure your lower back doesn't lift up off the floor. Now, each of these series of poses, if you do them for about a minute each, that will take you less than 10 minutes a day. And over a period of time, you'll notice a really amazing increase in your neck strength and your abdominal strength. So if we think of the 4 different muscles across your abdomen supporting you, it's like a beautiful corset. I'll keep doing the head, but without the hands. So we've got one muscle going across, which holds everything in. We've got another muscle going up. I'm not even going to bother with the names. But this one going up that holds our pubic bone and our rib cage together. And then we have 2 groups of muscles going crosswise that again hold us in. And these are 4 layers of muscles designed to keep everything in. Because in there we've got all of our abdominal organs. Okay, let's call that a minute. Now here, if you take your hands beside your body, and we'll have a little rest. So push the back of the head into the floor. Not the top of the head, but more the middle of the back of the head towards the lower. Release, and again. And again. The length of time you hold this is person dependent. And then lifting the head up, reach one hand towards your foot. And then to the other side. I don't like to go too fast here. I find that if I go at a slower pace, it helps to strengthen the muscles more. And each time you're reaching, you're asking your arm to be longer. Now, of course, if you get tired before we get to the end, stop. Because as you do this on a more regular basis, your strength is going to build. If you just watch the video, nothing will change, apart from the fact that you'll have an increased knowledge base. But yoga spiritually is yoga by doing, not by watching. It's like life, isn't it? If you just watch it go past, that's not going to help you. Better to be in the game. And I'm not using a timer here, so let's call that a minute. Once you get into the routine of these, you'll know which ones work best for you. So again, pushing the back of the head. And we'll do this in between each one. Release. Pushing the back of the head. And then hands onto your thighs, lift your head up and reach your hands towards your knees. Slowly coming back down again and leading with your head up, hands reaching. Try not to let the belly puff up, but to suck it back. Now, there's nothing to say you can't go really fast. And if you want to take the arms overhead, of course you can do that. That will make it a little more aerobic. When I first started doing this series of yoga poses, I found that my neck was a bit sore for a few days. But it was amazing just how quickly my strength built. And by the fourth morning, it was fine. I tend to do these first thing in the morning, and they're done. Let's call that a minute, and pressing the back of the head into the floor again. And release. Now for the next one, for the beginners, straighten one leg out and keep the other leg bent. Feel the back of the hips. Here's the hip bones right behind there, and your belly button pulling down. Lengthen the leg as much as you can by pushing out through the heel and pull it up as though it's really heavy. Pushing up through the heel, ask the leg to be straight. If it can't be straight, well, of course, bend it a little bit, but working towards a straight leg. So pulling down here, pushing up there, and then slowly lowering down, bending the knee in and swapping legs, reaching out and pulling the leg up. So if your lower back is sore, or you just you're starting from a weaker abdominal base, that's your go-to. For people who are stronger, you can straighten the legs out and keeping the hands on the belly so that you can feel those muscles working, lifting one leg up, pause, and lift the other leg up as you pull the abdominals down. Slowly, try and come up to vertical. Slowly lower this leg down, reaching out through the heel as this one reaches up and down with this leg. Up with one of the legs. Don't get too fussed about which order you're supposed to go in. As long as you do one leg and then the other leg, it'll all pretty much work out. Going slower helps you build more control. Going faster means you can let go of a little bit of that control. So I prefer to go slower. And as you start practicing these, you might find that you really enjoy some of them. So instead of doing them for a minute, you might like to increase the time. But initially, just start working for a minute. If you do find you get tired, well, of course, you can just come back to one knee bent and only taking one leg up. It's important that you work with the body you're in and not try and compare yourself to anybody else. You need to take into consideration your fitness, any injuries that you're working with, age that might play a part. It's all sorts of things. So you get the general idea there. Bending the knees again and pushing the back of the head into the floor. Don't let that belly lift up. And release. Next one, we've done the hands up to the knees, feet and knees apart slightly and palms together and heads up. Let's shoot between the legs. Up. Inhaling up, exhaling and relaxing down. Even on the coldest of winter mornings, these are guaranteed to warm you up fairly quickly. It's a nice feeling too as you connect the lower back with the floor. And if you do want to build some strength in this, your back will love you for it. But I encourage you to practice regularly, whether that's 2 times or 3 times a week, or making a commitment, say, for a month, every morning. As soon as you get up, do this. And after a month, you can really evaluate the difference that it's made. Oh, I feel like I've done something now. Now pushing the back of the head into the floor. This just helps to release any tension in the back of the neck. And release. For the next one, for beginners, or if you're a bit worried about your lower back, or if you're fearful of injuring yourself in any way, you can either stay with both knees bent. Next step is one leg up in the air, and you can swap as you go through, or 2 legs up in the air. Nothing to hold them up there other than your muscles, these little muscles that join the legs to the torso, the hip flexors, and your belly pulling back towards the spine. Then you take the arms out wide, lift your head up, of course, lots of pushing up through the heels to keep the legs long, and inhale as you reach up. Exhale, stretching the arms out wide, and repeat. Start off with working towards a minute. This is great for building some muscles across your chest. But you can also, I like to vary things. So sometimes I take the arms overhead So it just works different muscles in the abdomen. Let's call that a minute. Now, resting your legs up here, because after a while, this will feel like a rest. Just having your legs up in the air. You might find, though, you prefer it with a wall behind you when you're resting. Terrific for the heart, terrific for the circulation system. Really good for you. And bending the knees, coming down. One that I like to finish with and sometimes like to start with. This is my absolute go-to if I have lower back issues. If you keep the belly button, the back of the belly button on your lower back, keep that anchored to the floor and then grip those buttock muscles and lift the buttock muscles just up off the floor. It's a very minimal movement. And then you let go. I call it mini bridge. So big toes down, tailbone up, hold and release. A bit like watching grass grow, but great. Can you go higher? Of course you can. But keep pulling that belly button down. It's different benefits depending on how high you lift. But this will really help to take any distress out of the lower back, and it's very friendly for all sorts of sacral issues. So keep practicing those, and I promise you, you'll have stronger abs and you'll feel more confident. Oh, one more, just one more. This is one of my favorites as well. Hold on to the kneecaps, cross your ankles, and keeping your arms as long as possible, start moving yourself. That's your base point. Then you move the knees around in a circle. Try not to roll over onto your elbow. So as we go around in as big a circle as you can, it'll be tempting to let go of the kneecaps so that the knees go further away. Don't do that. Don't move the fingers. This will help to strengthen your fingers as well. Lovely lower back massage. And you're really helping to strengthen all of those little fine muscles in the abs, fine-tuning them, asking them to work in a more subtle way, as they do in life. Pretty much everything we do requires abdominal strength. This can be very meditative. Now, if you're short on time, change the cross of the ankles and change directions. And as you go around, if you're really noticing how your body is working, you can feel where it's easy and where it's a bit more challenging. You might hear a few clunks as your bones move around. Don't worry about that. That's just part of the process. Now, if you've got a bit more time, then change directions. So what I normally do is have one ankle cross and I go in one direction for a period of time, and then I change directions with the same ankle cross, change the ankle cross, etc. I'm a great believer in keeping things simple and adding a bit of variety. I'll go back to the first thing, and I would have gone that way because that's the way I automatically go to. So I'll go the other way to finish off the 4 directions. So as I move around, I can feel those 4 different abdominal muscles kicking in and switching off. Again, the slower you go, the more control you'll develop. And releasing, feet to the floor, and to come up. Simple way, roll knees and shoulders at the same time and pushing up from the floor. I prefer a rock up. This feels a bit more energizing, but it's important that you do what's right for you. So there you are, some abdominal work for you, and there's more coming. So if you'd like to find out some different ways where you can look after your body and do some simple yoga that it's incredibly effective, come and join me at Yoga Spiritually. Bye.